What's going on, Robbie?
Oh, chilling.
Awesome, man. Well, I love the film, but I want to start with, what did you think of the marketing for this film? I think the initial trailer that I saw was the blurbs, with reviews and screaming. Did you like that approach?
Well, I made that trailer, so yeah.
Awesome.
Um, my thoughts on that. So I have a pet peeve against quotes that are taken out of context or quotes that actually don't represent the thoughts of the critic. So I made sure to not edit any of the quotes and made sure that they were coming from reviews that actually felt that way overall about the film. But yeah, no, I hate a spoiler, so I was lucky enough that my distributors allowed me to make both trailers.
Well, I thought it was really a really interesting way to kind of get everyone engaged. I think there was a few people I saw listed that I do know personally, so that was kind of cool as well. I want to take a step back though a little bit. What did you set out to make with this film? And now that we're here, release time, do you think you achieved that?
I set out to like make a whole movie and not
Mhm.
leave something half done like I have many other times in life. So I accomplished that. Um, I was trying to make something actually scary and deeply horrifying. Now, I always knew though that that's not going to work for everybody because fear, some people find certain. So you'll see people that are like, "This was terrifying," and so I'm like, "What do you mean this was scary?" Of course, well, that's because like brains work differently, duh. So, but I think it is scary for a lot of people, which was one of the goals. And I set out to make a movie that I felt was, um, hopefully good. So I wouldn't have entered it in festivals if I wasn't feeling like it was worthy of people seeing it. So I think if this is answering your question, I
Yeah.
think it's where I want it to be. And yeah, I don't know.
It's all good. Yeah, that answers perfectly. And kind of speaking of that, how people see it, you're being a filmmaker, I'm sure your friends and family, want to see your work. How do you explain this film to that audience?
So like friends and family.
Yeah. It
think
was a
I,
wild
I, I
ride for
showed
me.
I showed it to as many people as I could during the editing process so I could get reactions. So I think I would just usually be like, "Hey, listen, it's the setup is just, hey, it's a horror movie. I just want you to watch it, and it's Blair Witch style, so it's all the footage is supposed to be real in the world of the movie. So that's really how I set it up. I don't like a spoiler if you couldn't tell from both trailers, so don't tell them too much beyond that.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. That's I really like the trailer for that. Just kind of going into it blind. I as a viewer though, I watched this. It seems like a pretty grueling experience, for the actors. Now, I talked to Michelle, and she said that this was shot over kind of a a good amount of time. But I am curious more so as to like, can you describe your directing process or like how you give notes and things like that?
Um, Sloppy, honestly. Like it's diff. I mean, I know that I'm different. When I was making my thesis film, there was a crew, there were actors that I didn't know that well at the time, and I was much more, I would say, prepared. It's like one of the things of me making movies with my friends is it's also I'm just hanging out with my friends. There's a shorthand, and and I think for the worst, sometimes I like just not take advantage of that it's my friends, but just am not thinking in a professional way. I'm just kind of like, got to get this shot, got to get that shot, and but I've over the course of the past three movies I've made, two of which are not out yet. I've gotten a lot better at like planning and communicating. I still have some work to do though, so yeah.
And let's talk about the cast a bit. This is mostly friends. Can you talk about as to why you picked certain people to play certain parts, or how did that all come together?
They're all close friends. I picked Ange because she's so much fun and she's so funny, and we've been friends a long time. And I always she just makes me laugh. I knew she'd have a bunch of natural one-liners. When she came out with that Coachella thing, I just like died. I love it. And Scott is a very close friend, and he feels like a brother to me. I wanted him to. Well, actually, when I initially made the movie, he wasn't playing my brother; he was just my friend. So, I mean, I always knew I wanted Scott and Ange, and then Michelle um, is a beautiful soul. Very, we worked at Greenpeace together, and I wanted a little bit of that hippy dippy stuff. But she's really just um, lovely to be around and down for anything. And she's like, all of my friends are so much fun to hang out with, which I guess is why they're like my closest friend.
And and then also too, you used their names in this film. So like all of the actors or all the characters are named after the actors for the most part. Was this to add a sense of realism or like
No, just practical. I didn't want to like have to deal with remembering fake names for my friends when we were ad-libbing. So I think in the original Blair Witch Project, they used their full real names. In this, I just used the first names so that we weren't. I didn't want to get a really great shot and accidentally say like Barbara, you know.
yeah.
So it was more a practical decision.
And are you gonna keep working on these types of projects, or are you gonna be looking to move to something more traditional after this?
My next movie I already shot, and it's also found footage, but it's actually very different. It was shot mini DV. It's 4:3. There's a straightforward story. It's hopefully still artful and good, but it's different. And then I do want to get back into classically composed shots and like narrative that's not in world necessarily. So there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, I also want to write short stories and make some more music and just like go on some vacations to Miami and like dance and like drink whiskey and fall in love.
Well, yeah. Well, I really like your eye. This is the only project of yours that I've seen, but I'm kind of curious as to like what type of stuff you watch. Like this is more of like a personal question for me. Like, what did you watch growing up? What do you watch now? You like, what do you like?
Um, I love a little bit of everything. So, but love horror. Growing up, it was like Jaws, Jurassic Park, Poltergeist, Cujo, Candyman, King Kong. Um, my high school years, it was very much like Jackie Brown, Requiem for a Dream, Gummo, um, Donnie Darko. In college, I got really into Woody Allen and Terrence Malick, and now I'm moved on to Housewives of New Jersey and Housewives of Beverly Hills are my two go-tos for real though. Like that's what I watch now.
New Jersey is my favorite season as well. You can't beat Danielle.
Can you believe that my film is opening literally one day after the Real Housewives of New Jersey premiere last night or the day
Uh,
before? I can't remember now, but like so exciting.
yeah, it's serendipitous. Have you taken a look at this MILF Manor show by any chance?
No.
Oh, okay. Let me
Oh, is
tell you.
that where they like have to date each other's sons?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
totally down to watch that. That's good. What is that on?
I think it might be on Bravo as well, but it's on my streaming. It's like you must be the target audience, 30 plus white male.
I also spent a lot of time listening to Juicy Scoop with Heather McDonald, which is how I know about MILF Manor in the first place. So
Well, take a look. It's as weird as you would expect. Um,
and actually,
I did notice you have two projects coming, file VL-624 and Card Zero. Those I'm from what I gather, they're in the same universe. When will those be available, and what can you tell me about those two?
they are companion pieces to the Outwaters. I made them both after the Outwaters, specifically for the Blu-ray.
Gotcha.
That said, it'll probably be available possibly before the Blu-ray streaming. Not sure yet, but they're both completed, and one's a little prequel memory card that deals with love and heartbreak and a little doom, and then the other one is an epilogue. File VL-624 is an epilogue that I think is it's my most ambitious work I've ever done in terms of editing and stuff.
Well, I'm really excited to check those out. Before we get out of here, is there anything else you want to mention about the Outwaters to kind of hype those that haven't seen it just yet?
Hmm. I don't know, if you like movies, check it out.
Me in particular, I've only seen it on I on my TV. I think that this is one to be experienced in a theater with people. So that's kind of how I would what I want to say to anyone that's watching. If you can, I know it's going to be in theaters very soon, select theaters, and there's I will have that information available. So I would leave you
It's
guys.
in theaters today.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And yeah, it's certainly I saw it for the first time on like a huge screen the other night. It's definitely I mean it works at home on a big screen in the dark, but there was something about that wall of sound hitting me from like movie theater speakers that was quite a lot in a good way, hopefully.
exactly. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at. I'm going to be trying to see it in theaters as soon as I can. You know, Robbie, thank you so much for your time. Here at CineDump, we let the doers know how they're doing, and Robbie, you are doing just fine. Thank you. And like I said, you know, I really enjoyed this film. I'm excited to see what you do next. Happy, you know, happy to find this project. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I've also been you know, I interviewed Michelle. I got the review dropping today, and then hopefully I'll get this edited and up as well. I've been seeing these promotional boxes that you guys are sending out. I don't know who I need to talk to, but if you could put in a good word for me, man, I would really appreciate it.
I believe those are gone. That was
Oh,
Screenbox sending them out. There was only a handful that I'm
okay.
aware of. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a Screenbox rep that I saw posted, but I think that was a really cool idea, man, and I will be sharing that
Well,
love as well.
if the people who did get those boxes post pictures of the postcards, they're all individually handwritten from the character Robbie Zagorek to people in his life. There may be some extra story within those postcards, but they're only one of each, and they exist in the hands of whoever got the boxes.
Awesome. Well, thank you, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you.